in this important occasion. 30 years have passed, 30 long years, with an interval of 30 long winters. And once again, we're here in Pontignano. But what has happened is in these 30 years, I've prepared, coming here, I kind of prepared a speech, but I could, listening to our guest, I could reverse engineer her speech and do mine, and it would be perfect. We would be perfect together. So I'll try to do this reverse engineering of her speech, starting with the wider picture. Probably not 30 years ago, but 5 years ago, we were reveling in the idea of what I would call Felix globalism. Globalization, what was flat, everything was going fine. Then came the double whammy of the pandemic and the energy crisis provoked, or let's say accelerated by the aggression in Ukraine. And we, all of a sudden, we found ourselves in a totally different world. We had, our trade was jeopardized, our security, economic, and also, I should say, physical security was threatened. And all of the preconceived idea we had fell by the wayside. So, what had happened? Geopolitics had come into the picture. Geopolitics we all forgot, came into the picture and told us, please, you have to review the way you do business. You have to think about your just-in-time. Just-in-time was the way we used to produce. I had to produce any item. I would have to think, oh, should I produce it or should I buy it anywhere? How long does it take me to get the item? And how fast can it get here? That's all the way we were doing business. Lean companies, everything was going like a clock. That clock broke. And now we have to rebuild into our system because of geopolitics. We have to rebuild a few things. And they are redundancies. And what redundancies means to start again to enlarge the share of what you have in your warehouses, but also redundancies in the way you locate your business. And we're going from a flat world into a world that I think for the probably next 10 to 30 years is going to be a world of more or less homogeneous areas that are going to be competing amongst themselves, and they try to be homogeneous in the way they observe world rules. So to continue this path, the other point is that I'd like to make is that trade again has been threatened, and what has been threatened is not just trade but the rules of trade. We live in a rules-based society, and the rules that are underneath the way we build, proceed, and live with each other have been threatened. And we enter an area of competition that is different. Competition is there, but now it's between areas. And here come exactly what we were fighting against 30 years ago in Doha. We have state subsidies. So we created a flat world to eliminate subsidies. We were going to this perfect clockwork that was destroyed by geopolitics entering and telling us, listen, it's like the earthquake we had the other day, telling people you can live just as long as we let you go ahead. This enters the picture, and we find ourselves again fighting towards state subsidies, fighting towards them. And what is the attitude of Italy? You said it perfectly. What is the attitude of our country? Because this reversion to subsidies is found both between these homogeneous areas. So we have IRA, CHIPS Act, and all these other elements that make these areas compete amongst themselves, but also within the areas. And we are within the European Union, and within the European Union, you know very well, we're going to have a competition European Council dealing exactly with the competition issues. And I think our government's position is very, very simple. I think the only way that Italy can remain competitive is to stay within the European Union market. The single market is the greatest asset we have in order to compete with the other areas, because no matter how big your economy, no matter how big is your fiscal capacity, you will not be able to subsidize your production, because you will have a short-term boost, but a long-term destruction of value or competition. That's what we feel. So, single market has to be preserved. We might create common instruments like a European Fund for Innovation. That's fine. We all have to push towards innovation. We work towards innovation. What we have to be careful not to destroy is the system we're in, and the only way not to destroy that is to go back to the rules and to go back to the values that are at the basis of our relationship and that will drive our relationship forward. And I think those values have to be preserved, not just for the sake of trade, not just for the sake of the economy, but for the sake of our livelihood and for the sake of wealth and growth and progress in the world. That's basically my vision, which is a wider way of saying the things that my predecessors said much better than I did. Thank you very much.